Hello everyone. In this video we are going to learn about the ultrasonic sensor, which is also known as a ping sensor, and we will see how to use it with the Raspberry Pi Pico and the MicroPython programming language. So first of all, let me give you a demonstration of this project. So here, as you can see, here is the ping sensor, also known as the ultrasonic sensor, and if I can show you, uh, here is the Raspberry Pi Pico, and here we have made the connections. So I have marked on this paper the distance in centimeter from 0 to 25. It is the last, but this setup can measure up to 200 centimeter accurately, and this is the ultrasonic sensor. It is placed at this 0. The minimum that this sensor can measure is around 2 centimeter and maximum up to 400 centimeter as per the specifications and data sheet. But here we are only showing that it is capable of measure up to 25 centimeter. This is a box I am placing at 25 centimeter. It is representing an obstacle. So first, let us run the MicroPython script. Now it is asking us the ambient temperature in degrees Celsius. This temperature will be used in order to calculate the sonic velocity. If you do not want to calculate, you can directly code the velocity as 343 meter per second. But here we are calculating the sonic velocity. So you have to enter the temperature of the surrounding. In this case it is 30 degrees Celsius. So it is showing the sonic velocity is 349 meter per second, and it is calculating this distance. So 25 centimeter on the sheet is something around 25.5, 25.6. So our error of 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeter, 0.5 centimeter error. That error you can take care here. Here the error is 0. If you want to have a 0.5 centimeter error subtracted from the main value, you can enter it 0.5 centimeter, and this steady state error will be subtracted from the main reading. So let us stop and save this program and run again. For the same ambient temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. Now it is showing half, 25, 26. So there is an increase of 25. So there is an increase of 0.5. So you have to put minus 0.5. Now it is again asking you the temperature at 30 degrees Celsius. Now you are getting very accurate readings of 25.0, 25.1, 25.13, 25.2, and these kind of errors are quite acceptable when you are considering that this is a really inexpensive sensor and the code is also not very professionally written. It is just for the demonstration. Now let us move the block and the obstacle little bit closer. Now I have put it at approximately 21 centimeter, and from the screen you can see that the distance is around 21.2 centimeter, and it is also converting it into millimeters by simply multiplying with 10. So there is a very small error of 0.2 centimeter, and that is quite acceptable. Now let us move the obstacle a little bit more closer. Let me put it near 16 centimeter. Here you can see that 15.7, 15.5, little bit error of around 0.2 to 0.5 centimeter. Considering the fact that I have marked without using a scale on the paper. I have marked very roughly just to demonstrate you. So now let us put the obstacle little bit more closer. Now we have placed the object at approximately 7 or 8 centimeter, and as you can see that it is measuring around 7.5 or 7.6. Now let us put the object at around 4 or 5. So you can see that it is measuring approximate distance. So this is the demonstration. Now you can see that the distance is increasing as I am putting the block at a further distance from the sensor. I know it is not visible in the camera, but I have placed my hand at a large distance from the sensor and I am taking my hand away from the sensor, and it can measure approximately, as you can see, 90, 100. It is measuring, and I am bringing my hand closer. I am bringing my hand very closer to the sensor. As you can see that the distance is decreasing. Now the distance is increasing. So this is the demonstration of this project. So let us now look at the circuit diagram and the basic calculations and the MicroPython programming for this ultrasonic sensor. So first, this is the sensor module which we are using. It is also known as a ping sensor. It has 4 pins. First one is the VCC, which is connected to the 5 volts power supply. This 4th pin is the ground pin, and then second pin is the trigger pin, and this 3rd pin is the echo pin. And this is how we will connect it. VCC will be connected to 5 volts of the Raspberry Pi Pico. Ground will be connected to the ground pin. Any of the ground pins of the Pico can be used. Then this trigger pin is connected to the GPIO 16. This trigger is the output, and this echo pin is connected to the GPIO 17 through this 10 kilo ohms potentiometer. Now why we are using this component? It's because whenever the trigger goes high and the ultrasonic sensor sends the ultrasound waves, in that amount of time the echo pin will be triggered high to 5 volts, and since Raspberry Pi Pico is a 3.3 volt system, we do not want to give this 5 volts directly to the GPIO 17 because it can severely damage the Raspberry Pi Pico. So therefore we are using this potentiometer as a voltage divider. It is acting like a voltage divider to divide this 5 volt to 3.3 volt. It simply means that whenever the echo pin is high to 5 volts, what you will sense at this GPIO 17 is 3.3 volt, nothing it. Instead of this potentiometer, you can use 2 resistors which will act like voltage divider. So this is the basic circuit diagram, and now let us move to the MicroPython script. So first of all, you will import the required libraries. Here you will use this pin class from the machine library. You have to import sqrt from the math module. Sqrt means square root, and you have to import utime to give time delays and to sample the timestamps. Now you have to declare one variable that will be treated as a constant, and it is used for calibration. Now suppose your actual distance is 30 centimeter and your sensor is reading 31, so you will set this error as -1. So it will subtract the value calculated by the sensor by the amount that we set up in the error. So this is used for calibration type of work that we want to do later, and it will be subtracted from the main reading. So you have to put negative sign if you want to subtract, you have to leave it a positive value if you want to add. I will tell you about this later. Now you have to calculate the speed of sound in air at any given temperature. This entire thing is optional. If you do not want to calculate, you can simply put this value 343 meter per second at 20 degrees Celsius. These are pretty much the standard values at 20 degrees Celsius. But if you are living in an area where the ambient temperature is more than 20, suppose here it is 30 degrees Celsius, so you have to calculate the sonic velocity. And when you convert this 343 meter per second, it will be 0.0343 centimeter per microsecond. This is the value which we will use. So first you will ask about the temperature in Celsius. This is the input function. It will ask you the temperature in Celsius. You convert it into a float. Then convert the temperature in Celsius to Kelvin by adding 273.16. This will convert the temperature into Kelvin. Now sonic velocity. Sonic velocity is the velocity of sound in air at that particular temperature. It has a well-defined formula from basic thermodynamics. The sonic velocity will be equal to square root of gamma RT. This gamma is the ratio of specific heats Cp divided by Cv, and that is 1.4 for air. For most of the cases we can take it to be 1.4. This R is the characteristic gas constant, and for air we can take it 287 joules per kilogram Kelvin, and this temperature is the absolute temperature, which you will put here by converting the Celsius into Kelvins. So applying this formula, you will calculate the sonic velocity. Sonic velocity equals to square root of, this is gamma, this is R, and this is T, which you will calculate from the Celsius into Kelvins. What you will get is the sonic velocity in meter per second. Now this is normal print statement. The sonic velocity corresponding to this temperature, it will print in meter per second. Give a little bit time delay for the sensor to settle up, and this is totally optional. Then you have to convert this speed in meter per second to speed in centimeter per second. So you will take this sonic velocity in meter per second and divide it with 10,000. It will convert the velocity into centimeter per microsecond. This we have to do because in the sensor data sheet and specification it is written that you have to take the velocity in centimeter per microsecond, because the time, which I will tell you later in this video, the time from the echo pin, or we can say that the time which the ultrasonic wave take to go from the sensor to the object and back from the object to the sensor, will be in microseconds. So now you have to declare a trigger and echo pins. So you have to set up two pins. First is the trigger pin at pin number 16 and configure it as an output, and now you have to declare another pin, echo pin, at pin number 17 and configure it as an input. This trigger pin is connected to pin number 16 as an output, and this echo pin is connected to pin number 17 as an input. After the pin declaration, you have to define a function for handling ultrasonic sensor operations. This is the main function which will activate the sensor and collect the proper timing that the ultrasound takes for moving from the sensor to the object and back from the object to the sensor. That time will be recorded, and this is the main function which will do everything. So you have to declare a function You can choose any name. I have taken ping sensor. It is not taking any argument. First you will trigger pin to a logic low. It means first you have to trigger the pin to 0. Then wait for 20 microsecond. This function sleep underscore us or sleep microsecond, you have to give here how many microseconds you have to wait. Sleep in microsecond for the sensor stability, because in the datasheet it is mentioned that first you have to pull the trigger pin to low, and we are giving sufficient time for the sensor to register that the trigger pin is in active low state. Now you have to set the trigger pin to the logic high. This is given in the datasheet, that you have to first set the trigger pin to 0, logic 0, and then you have to set the trigger pin to logic high for at least a minimum of 10 microseconds. This is specified in the datasheet, so you have to wait for 10 microseconds in order to register that the trigger pin is active high. So what this will do is, this will start the transmitter of the ultrasonic sensor, and it will command the sensor to emit the ultrasound waves. So after 10 microseconds you will again set this trigger pin to 0. This all is specified in the datasheet of our pin sensor. So now you have to mark the time when the sensor pin is at low state for the last time. You have to register the time at which the sensor pin is at logic 0 for the last time, and you have to name it start time. Suppose this is the voltage on the echo pin and this is the time in microsecond. Initially it was 0, and then you trigger it to logic high for 10 microseconds. So this is the start time, the time at which the echo pin is at logic 0 for the last time, because after this time it will be at logic 1. So you will register this time and name it as start time. So you will make part while echo pin dot value, compare it with 0, then start time is u time dot ticks underscore microsecond, this function. What this function will do is make a time stamp when the echo pin is at logic 0, and while loop will ensure that the value which this start pin stores is this one. Suppose the start pin is at 0, 0, at this location it is 0, at this location it is 0. The last time when this pin is at 0 will be recorded in this start time by using the while loop. Okay. Similarly, you have to mark the time when the sensor pin is at high state for the last time. Now sensor pin is at high at this point, at this point, at this point, at this point, but at this point the sensor pin or the echo pin is high for the last time. After that it will be set to low. So you have to make a time stamp of this time, and you will call it end time. So you again use a while loop, while the echo pin dot value, and compare it with 1. 1 means logic high. You have to set the end time equals to u time dot ticks microsecond. So here you will get one time stamp for the start time. Here you will get one time stamp for the end time. Now you have to get the duration in microseconds for the total distance covered, that is from the sensor to the object and back from the object to the sensor. This will be equal to duration in microseconds. This will be end time minus the start time. So you are getting end time minus this start time. So you are getting this entire duration in microseconds, and it is the duration in which the ultrasound will go from the sensor to the object, and it will be back from the object to the sensor. So this is twice the distance covered in this much amount of time. So now you have to calculate the distance of one side from sensor to object. So you have to calculate the distance is equal to speed multiplied by total time, which is this total time, and you have to divide it by 2 because you have to take the distance from one side. So what you will do is distance in centimeter, you will create this variable. This is equal to distance, this is equal to speed in centimeter per microsecond. This is what you have calculated in the earlier part of this program. This speed in centimeter per microsecond. Okay, so you have to take this value, speed, multiplied it by total time and divide by 2. So you just take this total time, duration in microseconds, and divide it by 2. This is the duration in microsecond, which you have calculated by subtracting these two variables. And in the last, you have to add this error term. This error term will help in eliminating any steady state error which the sensor is having in it. Like if the reading is 30, actual reading is 30 and the sensor is measuring 32, so you will put this error equal to 2 or minus 2 if you want to subtract it, and this will be taken care by this variable. You have to set it accordingly. It can be a positive term or a negative term depending upon the error which the sensor is creating. So now after this step, distance in centimeter, it is simply you have to convert it into millimeter by multiplying the distance in centimeter with 10, because we know that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. Now you have to pack the distance in a tuple and return to the main logic. Tuple means a paired combination of data variables. So first term is distance in millimeter and second term is distance in centimeter. So it is an easy way to return multiple objects or multiple data in a single return statement. So you just write a comma separated by these variables. So this function will return two things. First is distance in millimeter, second is distance in centimeter. Now the while loop. This is the main logic. Since we want the program to run continuously, we will create an infinite loop while true. First thing is you will call the ping sensor without any argument, because the function is not taking any arguments. This function, it is not taking any argument, so you just call the function ping sensor, and whatever the function is returning, you will store this in this tuple. Tuple means a paired variables. First thing is distance in millimeter, this function will return. Second variable is distance in centimeter, this function will return two things. So now you have to just print, if you want to serially print the data, distance and distance in centimeter, this term, and put the unit. And like you see in the demonstration, there was an arrow in the print statement, and then you will print the distance in millimeter. And then you have to give some time dot sleep 1 second, and you can use any of the coding, or you can use this data in some other kind of application according to your needs. So this is the end of this video.